Desertification. Let us say the desertification. Desertification is only due to the climate change in the major areas. So let us say the introduction part of this desertification. Desertification is a type of land degradation in which a relatively dry land region becomes increasingly arid, typically losing its bodies of water as well as vegetation and wildlife. It is caused by a variety of factors. Desertification is a significant global ecological and environmental problem. You see that the progressive destruction or degradation of arid or semi-arid lands to desert. Desertification leads to the conversion of range lands or irrigated crop lands to desert. Desertification is characterized by devegetation, depletion of groundwater, salination, and soil erosion. A desert is a landscape or region that receives almost no precipitation. Deserts are defined as areas with an average annual precipitation of less than 250 millimeters per year. It occupies about 17% of Earth's surface. Deserts are characterized by hot days and cold nights. The deserts of the world are mainly located in the southwestern United States, Mexico, North America, Asia, and West Asia. So let us see some categories of desertification. Light desertification. In this type of desertification, a very slight damage occurs in vegetation cover and soil. This damage does not affect the biological capacity of the environment and can be neglected. Moderate desertification is a medium degree of damage of vegetation cover occurs and formation of small sand dunes and salinization of the soil which reduces production by 10 to 25%. Severe desertification. In this type, spreading of weeds and unwanted shrubs in the pasture at the expense of desirable and wanted species occur, as well as increasing of the erosion activity which affects the vegetation cover and reduces production up to 50%. Very severe desertification. In this type desertification, composition of active naked great sand dunes occurs and formation of many grooves and valleys and the salinization of the soil which leads to soil degradation. It is the most serious type of desertification. What are the major causes of desertification? Let us see that one. Deforestation, overgrazing, water management, mining and quarrying, climate change, then pollution. Let us see the one by one. Deforestation. Deforestation refers to the cutting, clearing, and removal of rainforest or related ecosystem into less biodiverse ecosystems such as pasture, cropland, or plantations. So, the process of denuding and degrading a forest land initiates a desert. If there is no vegetation to hold back the rainwater, soil cannot soak and groundwater level do not increases. This also increases soil erosion, loss of fertility. That's why we must avoid the deforestation. Then overgrazing. Too many animals grazing on the land. Animals eat all the vegetation. Vegetation fails to grow. Soil is exposed to rain and wind. Soil is washed or blown away. To increase the cattle population heavily grazes the grassland or forest and as a result denudes the land area. The denuded land becomes dry, loose and more prone to soil erosion and leads to desert. Then next we see the mining and quarrying. Surface mining activity causes an immediate degradation of land which leads to desertification. These activities are also responsible for loss of vegetable cover and denudation of extensive land area leading to desertification. And we should also see some other factors. That is a climate change. Formation of deserts may also take place due to climate change, that is failure of monsoon, frequent droughts. Then pollution, excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides and disposal of toxic water into the land also leads to desertification. Then the climate change, which is partly the result of man's activity, is one of the major factors causing desertification. This is all because of the substantial pressure placed on land resources and direct human interference. Meanwhile, desertification helps to speed the process of global warming. So next let us see some of the countermeasures and prevention for desertification. First we must see the reforestation. Reforestation. So reforestation means, so everybody should have in their mind to plant the samplings of trees. So wherever we want to cut the tree, so at least we must plant the plants in and around about 5 to 10 numbers. So this thing we must do so that the desertification can be prevented. So fixation of soil. Soil must be plowed frequently so that the soil is being strengthening and the growing of plantations is well in manner. The next, contour trenching. Trenching is the best method to avoid the soil erosion in sloping regions. So for that we have to make the plantations such a way that along the contour line, and therefore in the sloping terrain the soil erosion and the desertification can easily be prevented. So next, farming managed natural regeneration. Then some managed grazing method can be adopted. Then how the combating the desertification, let us see that part. So we must raising the awareness of the problem. So first we must identify what are the crises towards desertification locally and due to the several reasons. So it should be studied thoroughly. So based on that the remedies should be handled at that particular place. So because every places the desertification is mainly depends on different reasons. So it depends on place to place. So and then planting indigenous trees and shrubs. So by doing these things the soil erosion can be prevented, and it can be avoiding the soil in open area. So for that the desertification can be prevented. Then we must be developing sustainable agricultural practices. Then mobilizing and involving people, then developing rural markets, and some other things that we have to make the solutions for desertification, that is policy changes related to how people can farm. In some countries where policy change will actually be enforced on those in the country, policy change related to how often people can farm and how much they can farm on certain areas could be put into place to help reduce the problems that are often associated with farming and desertification. Then policy change to other types of land use. If people are using land to get natural resources or they are developing it for people to live on, then the policies that govern them should be the ones that will help the land to thrive instead of allowing them to harm the land further. The policy changes could be sweeping or they would be depending on the type of land use at hand. The next, education. In developing countries, education is an incredibly important tool that needs to be utilized in order to help people to understand the best way to use land that they are farming on. By educating them on sustainable practices, more land will be saved from becoming desert. Then we must also utilize the technology advances. In some cases, it's difficult to try and prevent desertification from happening. In those cases, there needs to be research and advancement in technology that push the limits of what we currently know. Advancement could help us find more ways to prevent the issues from becoming epidemic. Then putting together rehabilitation efforts. There are some ways that we can go back and rehabilitate the land that we have already pushed into desertification. It just takes some investment of time and money. By putting these together, we can prevent the issue from becoming even more widespread in the areas that have already been affected. Then we must also follow some sustainable practices to prevent desertification from happening. There are plenty of sustainable practices that can be applied to those acts that may be causing desertification. By adding these to what we should be doing with the land, we can ensure that we don't turn the entire world into a desert. So let's go green to get our globe clean. Thank you. So